This is one of those legendary business stories. It's a tale of absolute, total dominance, some pretty shocking arrogance, and a future that wasn't just ignored, it was literally laughed at. We're talking about the empire that basically owned your Friday nights, and how it all came crashing down.
Yeah, if you're of a certain age, that phrase probably hits you with a huge wave of nostalgia. Remember that feeling? The week is over, you're excited for the weekend, and there was just one place to go that, for millions of us, kicked the whole thing off.
And this was it. You can almost picture it, can't you? You walk in, and you're hit with that iconic blue and yellow glow. You wander the aisles, picking up those chunky plastic cases, probably arguing with your friends or family over which movie to get. It really wasn't just a store, it was a ritual.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's rewind the tape a bit and see how this all started. I mean, how did Blockbuster become this massive cultural thing in the first place?
It's kind of hard to imagine now, but before Blockbuster, renting a movie was, well, it was chaos. It was mostly these little local mom and pop shops, and they were usually pretty disorganized. They didn't have a huge selection. There was a massive opportunity for someone to come in and clean things up for this booming new industry.
And then, in 1985, this computer engineer named David Cook did exactly that. He brought order to the chaos. His idea was, for the time, totally revolutionary. Make the store big, bright, and super organized. He even used a sophisticated computer system to manage a massive library of 8,000 tapes. And what happened? It was an instant hit. He turned a simple errand into a fun family experience.
And from that one single store, an absolute empire grew. For a long time, Blockbuster wasn't just a leader in the market, they seemed completely, utterly untouchable. And the scale was just staggering. I mean, just look at this. At its peak, Blockbuster had 9,000 stores all over the world. New York, London, Tokyo. That blue and yellow sign was a global symbol for movies at home. Their physical footprint was just immense.
And all those stores served a gigantic customer base. 65 million members. That's more than the population of a lot of countries. It just goes to show you how deeply Blockbuster was woven into the fabric of everyday life for people everywhere.
And the financial power was just as mind-blowing. In 1994, the media giant Viacom bought the company for $8.4 billion. Blockbuster was pulling in nearly $6 billion a year in revenue. The company was basically a machine that printed cash.
But this is where the story starts to turn. You know, when you're that big, when you're that dominant, it's so easy to get comfortable. And, like the slide says, success can be a dangerous lullaby. It can trick you into thinking you're invincible. And that belief, well, that's often the beginning of the end.
And that end had a name. While Blockbuster was on top of the world, a new idea, born out of a common frustration, was about to come knocking, and it came with an offer that would go down as one of the most infamous moments in business history.
The origin story is now the stuff of legend, right? In 1997, a guy named Reed Hastings gets hit with a $40 late fee from Blockbuster. But instead of just being mad, he saw an opportunity. What if there was a service that mailed DVDs right to your door with one killer feature? No late fees, ever. He called it Netflix. And by the year 2000, he was ready to make a pitch to the very giant he was hoping to team up with. So Hastings flies down to Dallas and offers to sell his little company to Blockbuster for $50 million. The proposal was simple. Netflix would become Blockbuster's online arm. But Blockbuster's CEO, John Antioco, he just saw this tiny, insignificant internet business. He basically dismissed it as a niche experiment.
And this is the moment. This is the part of the story that really captures the sheer hubris. He didn't just say no. According to the Netflix founders who were in the room, he struggled to keep a straight face. He laughed at them. In that one moment, he laughed off the very company that was destined to destroy his own.
That laugh would echo through business history as a massive warning. Because while Blockbuster stayed stuck in its ways, the world was changing. And the empire that seemed so indestructible began to crack and then crumble with shocking speed.
And right here, you can see the two paths they took. It's like a fork in the road. As the internet got faster, Netflix saw what was coming and pivoted from mailing DVDs to online streaming. It was fast, it was modern. Blockbuster? They did the exact opposite. They doubled down on their brick-and-mortar stores and clung to those late fees that everybody hated.
And the results were, well, they were dramatic.
You don't need to be a Wall Street analyst to understand this chart. Between 2002 and 2010, as Netflix's subscriber base went through the roof, Blockbuster's revenue just went into a total freefall. The market was screaming, but Blockbuster just wasn't listening.
And then it all came to a head in one single devastating year, 2010. The giant fell. Blockbuster, a company that was once valued at over $8 billion, filed for bankruptcy. The end came fast, and it was brutal.
The collapse was almost total. I mean, think about that. From a global empire of 9,000 stores down to just one, a single location in Bend, Oregon, which now pretty much operates as a tourist attraction, a living museum to a world that's gone.
So what's the big takeaway from this incredible story? It's really easy to just say Netflix killed Blockbuster. But the real story is a little deeper, and honestly, it's a huge warning for any successful company out there.
Because you see, Blockbuster's real killer wasn't another company. It was its own arrogance. They made the classic mistake of thinking their size made them strong. They assumed customers were loyal to their brand, not to convenience. And, maybe most importantly, they just refused to believe the world could change so quickly. The lesson is crystal clear. The second you stop innovating is the second you start dying.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? The future doesn't care if you're comfortable. It doesn't care about your history or how much money you're making right now. Technology and innovation are going to move forward, with or without you. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. The next Netflix, the next huge disruptor. It probably looks like a niche experiment to today's giants. It's very likely being dismissed, maybe even laughed at in some boardroom right now. So the real question for us is, who is it?